Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to another adventure into reality. Sit back, relax, come on into the room, enjoy yourself. Now, everyone that's already put your hand up, put your hand down. Put your hand down. We will say when it's time to put your hands up. All right, everyone, we have a unique amount of opportunities to communicate, talk, go over all sorts of things. I'm going to go into a speech here, and this speech is about to motivate and help you to motivate and participate. Many of our species are lost in the abyss of unawareness. We regularly disregard the synchronicities in front of us and create false placebo synchronicities with the systems subtly running our lives, habits, and apparent truths or accepted belief systems that run the fabric of the energetic reality. Our unseen world is just as much a part of our daily lives as breathing air, eating food, and loving. Leading a life path is the action of transcendence. It is always your choice to charge into polarity and contrast with the drive and vigor of a great thought leader of your consciousness movement of one. This is the level of contrast control you must maintain as a multifunctional I am presence with seamless transitions into and out of the mystical to ordinary life. We must charge unencumbered into the gates of greatness, stripped barren of domination and control, brought back to the natural way of living, in union and communion with all free-thinking sentient kind, living and coexisting in all of Earth's timelines and dimensions. We have all been blissfully ignorant masters of our own fate for too long. We must relearn personal illumination, personal freedom, and sovereign actions of conscious application of the sacred art of living daily life. We can no longer be the silent auditor of others' fate, holding information that could be drastically changed and heal others if they became a signature frequency match for self-illumination. I choose to speak in the moments of now, to co-create with my ancient illuminated self, to set down this path of self-discovery with Source millions of years ago. The illuminated masters of the past knew of our greatness to be. They set down roots as multidimensional, multifunctional, photonic beings of incarnating light manifested in human DNA lineages. So the path to greatness would never be lost to the seekers of knowledge. How do I declare the motives to impel myself to separate from the shared reality rules that determine domination or dominion? How do I define myself with the illuminated power of the I am, self, fully sovereign with all frames of awareness? I am a being born of nature, interconnected with all natural beings. With this truth, I open myself to Source incarnate now. I must accept my path to remove those who stunt my growth, steal my life vitality and good nature. They must learn how not to be a part of my signature frequency of being. I choose not to be a match for their soul frequency, exchanging energy with unsovereign beings entangled in a system of unnatural, unentangled observers, co-creating with the systems of technological domination, meant to distract us from our personal power, luring us down mind trails that lead to self-confusion of the natural truths of nature. These artificial systems were created by us generation after generation for thousands of years of our written and unwritten history, until such a time we went into the realm of soul-based amnesia, our true power and meaning in the universe. There comes a time in each person's life where they must confront themselves in the great smoking mirror of self-reflection. Within those moments of self-reflection, we found our destiny and greatness innate within. Upon finding the greatness within, we must ask ourselves, why do we have the heart of unity, yet face the world as a part of a food chain of greed, envy, personal competition with other beings? Too many of our brothers and sisters are caught up in domination and not dominion with each other. We have become meek of heart and mind, effectively becoming prey of our own self-deception. Prey of our own self-deception. Okay? Let's talk about that for a second. What does prey of our own self-deception really mean to you? Okay, everyone pop on into that chat room. Prey of our own self-deception. Wiggle those fingers. Come on. Prey, P-R-E-Y, of our own self-deception. Ponder that. So many callers are prey to their own self-deceptions. Many of you hear a caller and you kind of know at an angle that I'm going to come. When you allow self-defeating thoughts to have regular basis in you, you are your own self-saboteur. Being understanding of what thoughts you allow into your mind on a daily basis is doing inner work. Learning how to stop those thought patterns that make you ignorant, blissfully ignorant of your own unawareness, is denial of who you are and who you can be. Oftentimes, the seed of doubts are based in denial. But allowing yourself to get to the next thought levels requires you to look at the thoughts that you allow inside yourself. Over the many years of doing sessions, I have run across every kind of self-doubt, self-deception, self-defeating pattern that you could possibly think of. Some of them very highly evolved, decades that they've put in effort into defeating themselves. Many people who are light workers and are trying to get on the path of healing and cannot charge their value. You are defeating yourself by not accepting your value. When you begin the spiritual path, accepting your value is about understanding you are a part of the great mysteries plan, equal, nothing less or greater. We are all equal. Everyone can do what I can do. And it's not mystical the way that you learn to do it. Through courage, self-discipline, all the things that just require us to be in our body, our mind, and our spirit as a living being making choices. Why are so many of our people lost into the abyss of unawareness? Tomorrow it begins here in the United States, the next part of the propaganda system, where what was private doors to try to impeach Trump is now going to be the public spectacle. Who's going to get lost into that? I am. I'm admitting that now on air. Why? Why do you think I'm going to get lost into it? I won't be lost for a long period of time. Because I'm trying to understand something. How the abyss of unawareness takes hold of people. And that our system of domination and control and propaganda is very skilled at getting people lost into their own abyss of unawareness and buying into other people's stories. So many light workers out there and so many people in our community think that Trump is the savior, that Q is going to help you. No, it is just the great distraction. But understanding the fundamentals of the great distraction, I will write about it and help you, the listeners, learn how to not be distracted by it. I'm going to be a double agent inside it. Delve into its deepest, darkest corners of energies and shine light on it. But I'm not there to attack it. I'm not there to destroy it. I'm here to observe it so I can write about the keys of its unraveling, so that you in your own right can dote on your own personal path of unraveling. For those of you who are not in the United States, it is ignorant for you to think that it does not affect you. It absolutely does. What goes on in Britain and Brexit absolutely affects everyone in India and Australia. We're all interwoven and interlinked. Okay? No matter where you are in the world, even if you're a prepper with a totally off the grid in the middle of nowhere, it will affect you. For our energy harvesting systems are going into overdrive. Finding out who's a polarized patriot and who's a subversive so that you can be labeled by a system. And once you accept your label, you've already lost. Over the last few weeks, I've been telling people not to pick a side. I'm going into something and I'm not going to pick a side, but I'm going to understand how they grab you, how they distract you, and how they take you away from your personal journey. Each and every one of us has a personal journey, and we must look directly into the windows of our own souls and ask as the external observers from within, why have we lost ourselves to the petty distractions and lost the way of natural livingness with the energy of our planet that provides the life force and living ecosystem? We have lost our ability to create synthesis with our own existence as humans living in a body on a planet, holding space with billions of other conscious beings seeking life and the wonders of its great experience. We, the individual, own the responsibility to the 7 future generations. Have you accepted that? Are you aware by being here now you are? What does it allow if you do not? What actions will you take to stop playing that old tune of life? The mediocrity levels imprinted on us by our own cultural and economic and esoteric practices. By allowing the unknown to dominate your known, have you realized the relationship yet? The absence and avoidance of awareness is the quest to be ignorant out of will. This is the source of mediocrity. You are the self-imposer of your own creator of your own mediocrity. You are responsible for it in a totally free will universe. Who gains from this absence of your awareness? If your greatest potential was the aim of society, who would therefore have no place in it? Thus compounding the impact to your 7 future generations. What potentials offer a greater potential for the gainers of our amnesia? And also the hamstringing of the ranges of potentials for those 7 future generations from this point into the ancient future. This is an obvious relationship in that if you do not have the courage to take on board this awesome responsibility right now, based on the appreciation of the consequence of your actions and the impact on future aspects previously unseen. In this moment, what unseen infinite potentials are then afforded an opportunity to enter into your reality, hidden in the unseen? Who is waiting to enter your journey from that commitment? Who wants to be a part of your 7 future generations? By that shift in you, what potentials? Just awaiting a commitment from you in harmony with the universal order. The gain you once afforded those aspects who gained from your amnesia attitude would also be returned to you. What constitutes that also? Ponder this deeply, as they are codependent on you in that state. Stop accepting the scraps offered by the invisible masters acting as puppeteers of governments, religions, and any belief system that does not give acknowledgement of the existence and equality to all sentient kind living worldwide. Can you accept yourself as your own sacred grand master of the obvious and your own sovereign reality? Understanding anything is knowing the obvious of what you do not know. Do you know the next thought coming into your mind when speaking in a fluid conversation? Powered words here. Your future generations wait for your choices in these moments of now. When you allow these grand moments of now to have value, confirmation, affirmation, you get to have new things come into your potential. So many callers come and they're waiting for their new man or their new woman, and it never comes. Why doesn't it come? Because they're not ready to look at some of the things they have to look at so that perfect being can be there. How can you expect that perfect being to come if you've been not doing your own work to afford those potentials of the infinite potential inside you? Are you going to allow the infinite potentials to be there? Many of you say yes, but you're not doing it every day because you're distracted by the disharmony of the world. Too many hours on Facebook, too many blog spots, blog shows you got to watch, too many this, too many that, and not enough time for yourself. Not enough time for yourself where the words in the meditation deeply affect you. Not enough time for yourself, inside yourself, so that nature can nurture you. We are beings of nature, not this unnatural world that we live in. The system has sent us down this path of self-destruction and disconnection from the natural world for thousands of years. For if we were connected to the natural world, we'd be a vastly different species. We would know harmony where we feel disunity. We would know peace where we only know war. We would know great valuation where we only know debt. I value each and every one of you. I don't judge any of you. I allow my conclusions to be open-ended, so judgment does not limit my unlimited point of view. Life is a blessing when you allow it to be. So many people don't allow life to be the blessing. And when you don't allow life to be the blessing, you're missing out on a whole bunch. All right, Robert, we're going to ask people to raise that hand if you want to be a caller. Look how fast you guys were with that. So we're going to talk today about the universe, the world, or whatever it is that you want to talk about today. All right, Robert, spin that wheel of universal callers and see what the universe wants us to talk about today.
All righty. Our first caller will be Jen G. You're unmuted with Andrew, Jen.
Jen, are you there?
I am here. Hello.
Hey, hello. Where are you calling from today?
I am currently in Nottingham, England.
Nottingham, England. Welcome to the show. What did you want to
Thank
talk
you
about
so
today?
much. Well, it's actually funny because your opening speech is along the lines of what I would like to speak today. I am at the crossroads now, or a new point in my journey where I get to create my business.
Mhm.
And since I've been here, I haven't been working. Oh, the baby just woke up. And I feel like since I've been here, I've been on a really deep soul search with like my shadow work and trying to not compare myself to others and get rid of my self-sabotage. And I'm at a point now where I'm ready to extend my light for everyone else that is looking to do the same thing through my experience.
Okay. So what kind of business do you want to start?
Well, that a little bit of everything. There's an antique shop at the end of my street that is going out of business, and it's the perfect space to have like an event room in the front and then have a treatment room or a healing space in the back for like Reiki and astrology and tarot, which is what I love to do. But I would love to open that front space to do like a meditation workshop or a yoga workshop, or what I would really love to do is start like a sisterhood group where women bond together and inspire each other versus learning, to compete and compare and live small.
How old is your baby?
She's 10 months.
Yeah, you're thinking a little too big here.
And so this is why I needed you to help me like reel myself in, because I felt like there was so much I was trying to shove under that umbrella.
First, do you know what the rent costs?
No, I don't even know if the guy is willing to even rent this space. I mean, I went in and spoke to him about it, but he didn't have anything really planned for it once his business closed. So it's
commercial places are not cheap.
No, and that I do know.
Okay.
I am also working on a website that I started 3 years ago and just let sit on the shelf. So even if I opened up to like an online,
is that website on a website builder site, or is it do it yourself, or do you have somebody else building it?
No, I currently have been building it myself, but I recently just reached out to a woman who also does somewhat the same thing as like a business coach to teach me how to fine tune it and how to get myself out there to reach clientele.
You're going about this all the wrong way.
Okay.
This
is why I needed to call.
Website is a website you started 3 years ago doesn't represent who you are today.
Correct. Yeah.
And the majority of the technology you've got in it probably doesn't work the way you want it to work.
Okay.
All your website needs to do is have pictures of you, your bio of you, testimonials, and a way for people to sign up for an email list, and a way for you to charge for sessions so you can do them online. Now, as for a physical space, you can go and find a little tiny office space that isn't your home and go and do them from there. Okay. Do you charge for sessions now?
No. Since I've been here, I've done a couple of wellness shows, which I have charged for the sessions. But
in the past, have you charged?
No. I want to do everything for free, and I know that I have recently had to change my...
How can you open a business if you want to do everything for free?
Exactly.
No, honest, you have to be blunt with yourself, and the part of you that says do it for free, you got to kick that shit out.
Right. And you're absolutely right. And I have had to really come to terms with changing my relationship with money and knowing that it's so much.
Does that baby want to eat?
Yes.
Then that's what you have to be able to change. And anytime that anything wants you to do it for free and go, my child needs to eat, my child needs to go to school, my child going to need all these things. And you can't go without either. You can't give everything to the child and go without for yourself.
Correct.
So the little martyr and uber light worker in you has to grow up.
I agree. And this is why I knew I needed to make this phone call tonight.
Okay. So where did you move from?
I'm originally from Boston, but I was living in Arizona where I met my husband, who was from England. So we came here about 2.5 years ago.
And what does he do for a job?
He's currently working in an aerospace company that he desperately wants to get out of, but it's a good company with people that he really enjoys working. So he's sort of holding that space for us by making the income. So I'm hoping to really, now that I've got the the confidence to push myself out there, really start the business for us and sort of get it off the ground so that he doesn't have to go to that job anymore.
Well, you're not going to make money doing sessions that's going to equal that job. You realize that, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You talk to actually people that do sessions in your area. Unless you're doing 40 sessions a week, you're not making any money.
Okay.
That's brutal, honest.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This is what
You're going to start.
yeah.
You're not going to really start more than $100 a session, are you?
No.
Okay. So you're going to really be at 80 a session, 20 a week. 20 times 80 is what?
Yeah. Okay.
Not very much.
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do the brutal math. So you wanted to open a women's group. Those aren't for free.
No.
And most women don't want to pay a part to have friends.
It's true. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's what women's groups do. The majority of them have lost their social skills and
Mm-hmm.
come into these divine feminine groups because they have got no friends who are in spirituality. And then they have a hard time paying for friendships.
I'm with you. Okay. That makes sense.
So if you want to be a reader and you want to be a healer, do that
Mhm.
and that alone.
Okay.
Okay. And you've got to
Yeah.
figure out how you're going to get 20 sessions a week, 80 sessions a month, so that you can make a decent living. And that's barely making a decent living.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to burn you out. You've never done 20 sessions a week.
No.
And the majority of the healers and people that call here can't do 20 sessions in a week. It's too much for them until they've learned all the coping skills. You've got a 10-month-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the website, don't put any
Yeah.
more effort into it other than it captures an email, allows
Okay.
you to send emails out to clients.
Mm-hmm.
It has your full bio. Your bio is going to be what determine if they're going to buy a session with you or not. A way for appointment for them to get a hold of you to book an appointment. Do not use an automatic booking system. They're junk, most of them.
Okay.
Okay. Talk to your clients. Start with what you know. Are you certified in Reiki or any other healing classes?
Yes, I am certified in Reiki.
Okay, that's not enough for you to start with.
Okay.
So go get another one, like quantum.
I would love to do
touch.
cranial sacral
Go do it.
is something. That's what I would love to do.
Then just go and do it.
Okay. Just do it.
Just do it.
Will do.
And then remember, as you evolve this job, every search you can go out and go get.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now the next thing is you moved to a new country. You've been there, what, 2 years now?
Yeah.
The first year you were pregnant being there?
No, the first year. So when I first moved here, I didn't go through the whole visa process, and I didn't recently get my visa until about 2 months ago. So I technically couldn't work.
No, but you were pregnant.
I was pregnant. Yes.
Yeah. So you really haven't been an unpregnant person going through your town.
Fair enough. Yes.
Okay. You need to do that. You need to get out and know the town.
Okay.
You need to push your baby around in a stroller. Winter's coming.
More so than the block that we go.
Okay. Right. Winter is
Okay.
coming also.
Mhm.
And you're not exactly in city, are you?
No, we're just on the outskirts.
Right. So are you going to learn to drive on the other side of the road?
You know, I actually did that today for the first time by myself.
Okay.
It was scary, but I did it.
Yeah, it's going to continue to be scary. And you're going to need to learn to drive on the other side of the road confidently
Okay.
with your kid in the car.
Yes.
Okay. Because
Mhm.
if you end up getting trapped in the house, you're going to go crazy.
Which I almost feel like I was getting to that point, and that was what was sort of the driving force into getting myself out there, because of the whole visa and immigration thing. I almost felt like I was in hiding for a bit, which gave me the time to go within and do the clearing out of certain things like shadow work and stuff like that. But at the same time,
everyone says shadow work? What does it mean?
to me, it was really sort of defining what was holding me back, that little nag that I didn't really know existed, the victim role that I was playing, and the poor me mentality that I had to really change and get out of and step into my self-worth. And
but how could you have done all the shadow work and not realize you have to charge to do sessions to make money?
Well, I know that I need to charge for it. And that's what I was saying. I'm at that point where I'm ready to embrace the unknown and ready to put myself out there, and with the price tag included.
But I'm putting out something that you're saying you did shadow work, and in actuality you didn't. You just identified the top 10 problems and didn't do anything about them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's what most people do with their shadow work. Oh, I identified a problem. They think it's fixed. No, it's not.
I know that there's a lot more to do.
And it's not about confronting your shadow at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's about confronting the self-depreciating person in you.
Okay.
So you moved to England, and why did you think you had to go in hiding like you were a Mexican, immigrant in America with Trumpisms?
That wasn't really the idea when I got here. It was
but that's how it came out of your voice.
That's how it came. Yeah, that's how it ended up. You're right.
Why?
Because I didn't take the steps to do it appropriately when I first got here. Or when I decided to come, it was more like a whim.
Why?
Because I figured it would all just work out once I did.
Mm-hmm.
Once
you
I
thought
made that
love and light
journey,
was enough. Is love and light enough?
It is not. There's a lot of hard work that goes with it.
Exactly. So you got to retire the love and lighter in you.
Okay.
Put her out to pasture.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not going to get you anywhere.
All right.
Can you really do that?
I am going to give it my best shot. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I believe you can.
I believe I can. I mean, at this point in my game, I believe I can.
Mm-hmm. But you have a 10-month-old kid who's going to throw you off your game.
She keeps me on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I really feel that was a big thing for me, was how do I teach her certain things? How do I do this? And what it all boiled down to is I just had to be the example. Like, I can't teach her to follow her dreams if I'm not doing it for myself.
Yeah, but she's 10 months old right now, and she's not really going to be understanding what that is until she's 6 or 7.
Right, which is why I'm trying to understand it for myself before she picks up on the fact that I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. But she's already picking up on the fact that you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm, the energy of it.
Not just the energy, how you imprint into her reality. The fundamentals of her emotional input are based off of those first 15 to 25 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the child looks like the mother or the father, whoever's the most potent energy in the family.
I see. Okay.
So let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't you start this in the United States?
I could have. When I was in Arizona, I felt I was really at my lowest, and I started to try to float back up from the rock bottom that I had hit emotionally. And I just felt like where I was at, I not so much that I outgrew, but I felt like I couldn't do it there. For whatever reason, and our choice was, do we move to Hawaii? Do we move to England? And for whatever reason, we came back to England. And it was a lot of pros and cons as to where we were going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And this ended up being the winner. Mm-hmm. And we knew we wanted to come here and establish family roots. And we did that more than we thought we were going to. Mm-hmm. We got married, we had a baby. And not that that wasn't in our future plan, but we didn't know how soon that was going to come to us.
Mm-hmm. What other kind of jobs have you done in your life?
Oh, I feel like I've done everything. I've worked in construction. The last job I had before I came here, I was a project coordinator for a flooring company who did government contracting. Mm-hmm. I've been a bartender and a server. I've worked I worked in a construction company doing estimating for a general contractor.
Mhm.
And then I've had my odd jobs like Home Depot and I worked at a daycare.
Nothing that's you've ever had to really face yourself in the type of work that you had to do.
Yeah, a lot of them were just things that I was good at, and I didn't really have to like put myself out there and push. It was just easy.
But you want to open your own business and you have no experience in opening your own business.
And I thought I was taking the appropriate step by hiring someone to show me how, or to teach me, versus trying to just do it myself.
Most coaches aren't going to be able to do this ground up stuff. They have specific niches that they work with. So you need to know that the next 12 to 20 months, you have to take time to learn what accounting is. Okay, you've got to do your own accounting. You need to know how to go and open a bank account in the United Kingdom. You need to link that bank account to a PayPal system so you can get paid online. You need to understand what your taxes are in the United Kingdom. Okay, you need to do those things that the living later in you doesn't want to do.
Okay, the things I was trying to get away from.
Right. Face those. Face those and shine the light on the subjects that you don't want to look at.
Okay.
Now, as for becoming a reader,
yes,
you need to start doing readings for yourself 4 or 5 times a day.
Okay.
Okay. What kind of readings do you like to do?
I really enjoy tarot, and I love astrology, like the astrological birth charts, because that taught me so much for myself.
But
I do enjoy the Reiki session.
The level of competition you're going into in that area is ridiculous and stupid.
And it is. And even just in these wellness events that I have participated in, there are so many just within that one building, and that's not even like touching the surface of how many of us.
What's going to make you different than everyone else?
I was coming from a perspective of everyone needs the healing, and that my vibration will attract the people that are meant to come and see me, versus seeing it as a competition and throwing the self-sabotage back in, like I'm not good enough, and throwing that fear back in of
that's your love and lighter talking again.
Yeah. And I didn't realize how strong that light and lover was until now.
Once again, as a businesswoman who hasn't accepted she's a businesswoman, what is going to make you different than all the other astrologer, Reiki master, tarot readers out there?
In this current moment, it's the drive to provide for my family. And I know that
does not make you different.
And I know. But if I'm being honest, that was my driving force.
But you have a husband that makes enough money for both of you right now.
I know, and it kills me that he is out there, and we all have our own journey.
You're going about doing this for the entirely wrong reason.
Yeah.
If you're going to become a reader, you got to do it because you love it.
Which I do.
No, you don't. But no. You would have done it already. You would have done it already. You'd have been already charging sessions years ago. You haven't done 10 sessions in a week yet.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You haven't done what it takes to do the job yet.
Okay.
And you want to do that.
And I do.
But until you've done it, been there, done it, understand what it takes, and now I got to repeat it week after week after week after week and be confident enough to sell myself everywhere I go. Okay? You're not in a big town, so word of mouth is going to be squat for you, right?
Right.
How are you going to get people to know you? What is going to make you different?
Getting out into my town. Getting out past my town.
What's that going to do? You're going to hand out business cards and talk to people at coffee shops?
Do you have any insight as to how I can push this forward? Or if it's even like, now I understand that my energy is going in the complete opposite direction than it needs to be going.
You need to take business classes, marketing classes, and understand that you will build an audience and you build a group by going and doing psychic fairs that require you to pay money to be a part of.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and from doing fairs, you will gain clients.
But
what is going to make you stand out from everyone else? You got to know your niche.
Yeah.
What makes you different than the next Reiki master, or the next this, the next that?
I want to say my confidence, but I don't feel like it's at its peak right now.
Confidence has nothing to do with it. This is business.
I know. So how do I promote myself to make myself stand out from other people then? From the other people doing the exact same thing?
That's your niche. Okay. Like, what's my niche? You got to create one.
Yeah.
You got to create some pages of documents that make you different than everyone else. This is why my astrology reading is different than everyone else. This is why my version of Reiki is different than everyone else.
Okay. I'm hearing what you're saying.
This just requires pen and paper or computer and keyboard.
Okay.
And that marketing yourself is the hardest thing you're ever going to do, because as soon as it becomes love and lighter, it's bullshit. It's not marketing.
Right.
Marketing is there to get people to pay for what? You. Your marketing has to have all the confidence of what you're putting behind it. So creating those marketing documents is about rediscovering your own personal confidence to following through with the skills of business. Your business is going to be spirit, and the spirit of business has to flow through you. You got to be willing to channel your inner businesswoman as a spirit guide. Okay. So you sit down with your marketing coach and ask her, let's go through the process of what's going to make me different than anyone else. What's my tagline? What's my hook line?
Okay.
What's my niche? Okay. Maybe it's the type of clothing you wear. You know, you put on some Queen of England shit. I don't know. Or you're the only Texas girl psychic reader in England wearing a full on, 20-gallon hat and high boots and spurs.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to sitting with her, because this is what she actually does, is she helps women.
Right, but she's not going to give you business skills. Right?
No. Okay.
You have to know the difference of a coach and then the business skills. She may point you in the right directions of what skills you need to make and manifest, but guess what? I did all my own marketing. It ain't easy. Okay.
No.
Okay. And I'm not making fun of you. Could be the cowgirl reader of Nottingham. There's, you can use Nottingham to your advantage, robbing from the evil spirits and giving you a reading, giving you your power back.
Excellent.
You got to find those niche words.
Okay.
And guess what? It will evolve. You may have one for 1 month, and 5 months later, it's this is shit. But it got you through 5 months. Okay.
Yes.
That's what you have to focus on.
Okay.
Don't open a building. It is an absolute waste of money. Get an office. An office. But still inquire at what the rent costs. Okay. Actually say, I want a price on the rent. So you understand how many sessions a month you would have to do to just pay the rent.
Right, exactly. Okay.
So you can begin to do non-light worker math, reality-based math.
All right.
Okay. If the rent is $3,000 a month, How many sessions is that? Right. And how am I going to maintain that every month with a 5-year lease?
Right.
Okay.
And a
5-year, right. So 5-year
Mhm.
lease, X number per month. You're looking at the end of 5 years, 3,000 sessions.
Okay.
You're a pro at that point.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, darling. I got to let you go and move on to my next caller. But thanks for calling
Excellent.
in. All right.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right. You're welcome. Have a
Okay.
good one. All right, Robert. Let's spin that wheel of callers.
Okay, Andrew, we got Leah back on tonight. Her call was cut off last week, if you remember.
Yes, Leah, are you there?
Hi.
How you doing, darling?
I'm well, and thank you for having me back. My phone died, which, as a metaphor, was rather perfect because that's how I've been feeling for the whole last year. Like I'm just out of energy and zero battery power.
Do you have any time to invest into yourself? I know you've got a baby there too, right?
I do. I mean, I've got all the time in the world, right?
Do you have? I know lack was an issue also, but do you have any money to invest into yourself?
Yeah, surprisingly, I have inheritance coming through that whole unfortunate situation with my mother. One thing leads to another. And that last call was so enlightening and really good for me. I'm a total love and lighter, and I think I learned that from my mom. I know I did. And
So,
go ahead.
What I'd like
please.
for you to do is to go and take as many healing classes as you can. You can go and do a 5-month or a 7-month massage therapy class. Don't go to a community college. Don't go do a 2-year degree. Go do an intensive one. Because once you're done with the intensive massage therapy class, you'll have learned a bunch of stuff. You will have done work on other people, and people will have done work on you. You also need to invest time and healing energies to yourself. So while you're in this decision process, you need to find somebody that can do some deep tissue work on you, as well as acupuncture. You need
Those
to
are
be
some
able
of my favorite things, and I have been neglecting them because of the money problem, quote unquote. It just drives me further away from center.
You've got to be able to put that time in. Now, the next part of your journey here is money. You're going to blow through that inheritance. What are
With
you
my
going to do?
patterns, yeah.
What are you going to do to not blow through it?
I need to do the same thing as the last caller, like get smart about money and what it is tangibly and actually, rather than energy.
And you need to evict your love and lighter.
Yes.
That bitch gotta go. That bitch has got to go.
I was doing the forgiveness exercise that you recommended. I've been doing it every day, and it's definitely not as warm and fuzzy as forgiveness feels in theory. It feels a lot more like the judgment and the blame and the shame and the guilt. So when I say I forgive myself of X, Y, and Z, I'm really feeling sorry. And I don't feel like that's the right energy. That's not forgiveness.
No. That's how deeply ingrained it is in you. And that's why I said you've got to go through this extended forgiveness process until after a while, repetition will create an illuminated real forgiveness. You'll just kick in and get it. You're starting to see how deeply ingrained it is in you. And when you say I forgive and you feel something else, that's another program taking the forgiveness away. And you just spotted it.
Yeah. And thanks to you, because it didn't take very long to see my forgiveness wasn't actually forgiveness.
It was pretend. Okay. What are some of the other insights you've discovered in your attempting to forgive yourself?
You asked me what last time, what broke my faith?
Yeah.
And I had a hard time answering that question. And then I kind of had an image that night of back when I was 8 years old, and my cousin told me that Santa Claus wasn't real. And it just busted at the same time I was listening to your video, you said my curtain just fell. And that's what it was. It was the moment in my life where the curtain dropped, where I realized that everyone had been lying to me. And if they were lying about this, then what else were they lying about?
Mm-hmm.
Especially religion.
You had your own uncertainties about religion before that, and it just solidified it.
Yep.
Okay. So what is it going to take for you to get your faith in yourself back?
Being willing to be that polyhedron instead of the square, and allow my spirituality to be multifaceted. I don't have to pick one. Beautiful. And it doesn't have to be one that was in my tradition. Genealogy is big in my family. My mom considered herself the genealogist, and from what I know, part of my family is from 13 generations of Presbyterian pastors. And so I have no doubt that some of that religious tone came down.
But it also affords you some other things. 13 generations of people that know how to pray really damn well. Yeah.
And who are dedicated to a spiritual life.
Which you can tap into as a lineage energy and redirect into a whole new form of faith for yourself, if you're willing to accept them.
Again, I like it. I like the idea, like I like forgiveness, but I don't know what I'm going to find.
No, you don't have to accept their faith. You only have to accept their love and their wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like a horse that only knows how to race. You know how to pray really damn well. 13 generations of it. You were meant to be a spiritual being this lifetime, just not under that religion.
Thank you. That feels good to know and hear.
But it also puts you on this pedestal. I'm the 14th generation. How do I live up to it?
Yeah.
Okay. So on your journey to forgiveness, what other things have you noticed when you're in the forgiving journey and that you've discovered that they're really not forgiveness?
There's a lot of, I forgive myself for being. I forgive myself for not being. I forgive myself for holding, seeking, taking. So it's like the verbs that I'm realizing I've had so much judgment against myself for, like the way I've just for living. And then, in big bold letters, I forgive myself for not doing the work. And then uncovering, just other thoughts that come up while you're writing like that, the 13 generations of pastors, and then almost every single one of my lineage lines goes back to the original settlers / colonizers of America. I feel, ties to witch retribution, female Puritanism and patriarchy. All of these things I think have affected me, and I don't really understand how to clear them because they aren't mine, so to speak.
You need to charge directly into them. You need to research witchcraft and Wicca. You need to research divine feminine concepts. You need to look at all of the different things that religion would tell you never to go look at.
Right.
So that you can say, I know it from within.
And I start getting on that historian track sometimes, and then I feel silly because I'm delving into the past, which isn't the present and might not affect the future. So am I wasting time then?
You're never wasting time. You're just taking a break from the grand times of doing things. Okay? They're always on the path. It's just the path may not lead to where you want it to go to.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this journey of self-forgiveness, there's the next step, which is forgiving others. Have you ventured into forgiving others and their projections that have been put on you?
A lot of it came up, but I wanted to stick with the 10 days of forgiving myself. So I would always try to redirect that into something more personal.
Part of that is so you can see how deeply ingrained your programs are.
It's all crossed over. Like my guilt is crossed over with shame, is crossed over with blame. I feel guilty for things that I didn't actually do, and shame for things that people told me I did. And I blame myself. It's all a quagmire, really.
And it's all just there to get you lost in a story and off your path. That's why this 10 days of self-forgiveness, and then followed by the 10 days of forgiving others, is going to teach you a lot about not getting lost in the quagmire of your life.
And it's about reprogramming those thoughts.
Right.
I had one more thing come up just about generational trauma that I thought you might have interesting insight. Both my grandfather and my great-grandfather were in the Bohemian Club. And because I'm a female, obviously none of that was shared with me. It was a secret. My grandfather also had 4 daughters, so none of us were allowed into the family secret. And I wonder what kind of energy that a lie or a secret like that holds. And then if there was anything nefarious going on with that.
And that was your grandfather?
Yeah, and his father-in-law.
Well, what do you know about your grandmother and great-grandmother?
They were both really artistic women, very independent and well off. They both kind of bucked patriarchy and stood on their own in their household, but yet weren't allowed to be this part of their husbands' lives.
Because they were trophy wives.
Yes, they were.
There for the public community to see, but the private, they were just the trophy. And it's fair to say from that era of history that wealthy men had many in their harem that they could see at any time.
Yes.
Now, as for the Bohemian Club, it was very common for wealthy men to be a part of that. Very common. That doesn't mean
in the non-political sense.
In the non-political sense and the political sense too. Because it's where you wined and dined the wealthy, and it's also where the wealthy traded around special women. And
so you think
traded special women who had special skill sets in the bedroom, as well as magical skill sets in the bedroom.
So interesting then that I kind of took on that prostitute archetype.
And it just jumped right into you out of I wanted a damn snowboard.
I mean, it must have been more than that. I tested my boundaries a lot.
It was lineage jumping into you. And
I put myself in a lot of difficult places, basically just to see if I could get myself out of them, I think.
Or you were resolving karma. Okay. So part of your series of past lives, you have the sex worker industry in you. And there were potent and powerful lives where you were very powerful women, but you also were in an era where women couldn't even own property. Okay? And this modern era, the sex worker industry has nowhere near the caliber of quality of what it did in the past. Okay? But it also has vastly different rules. And your past lives dealing with that sex worker industry is you ended majority of them, but you found yourself back into it. And as you said, you were trying to test your boundaries, but in reality, you were just trying to test yourself if you were going to kill yourself or not. Or somebody was going to kill you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I mean, that's where like the divine intervention stuff comes in, because I feel like I did push it too far on more than one occasion, and something did protect me.
And this is why you have to begin to reinvigorate yourself with faith. Okay. You also went into the sex worker industry to throw it in your mother's face, even though You weren't.
Well,
throwing
that
her
whole
directly.
lineage line of trophy wives, yeah.
That's right. That was vengeance. Do you see it as doing it out of vengeance?
I can see that, yeah.
Okay. Your baby just said yes.
Yeah.
Can you now go into a different form of forgiveness that I went into this sex worker business out of vengeance to my mother? Because it wasn't about the snowboard. Come on.
No.
No, it was vengeance. I'm doing this, bitch. Watch me. The eggs are going to go in the air. I'm going to do it. Okay?
Yeah.
That form of self-forgiveness for taking vengeance that fucked your life up, that's a deep form of forgiveness for yourself. Okay?
I can see the healing in it already in just 5 days and 4 pages. Obviously, I see that it's a long road, and
It's a
I
10
think
day, it's a 10-day road. It's not that long of a road.
30 days, right?
Yeah, 10 days of forgiving yourself, 10 days of forgiving others, and then 10 days of forgiving both. Okay? 10 days at a time. Okay? By the end of it, you might have 50, 60 pages. The more you can write down, the better. Because after those 30 days, you're going to look back on that stuff that you wrote and go, there's a lot of insight in there.
Yeah.
Okay? So forgiving yourself for taking vengeance, which puts you down that path that you really didn't want to do. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the next thing is you've got a child. You've got to rediscover love. You've had to, really. You know that that child has unlimited love for you. But as a mother, there are times your love is challenged, isn't it?
Yeah.
What can you do to stop making love a challenge? Because the breaking in your faith and the going into the sex worker industry is what also broke your capacity to love. That child is there as an infinite teacher of love. You got to have several pages on forgiving yourself for breaking love, forgiving yourself for not knowing what love is, was, or will be. And then allowing love to flow through you again, even if it's tearful.
Yeah, I used to love to sing, and I can't even sing anymore without crying. It's tragic.
And sing and cry at the same time.
Yeah.
Crying, singing. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been carrying a lot, and I appreciate you helping me uncover it.
Okay. Learning to love in a whole new way. Okay. Are you in a relationship now?
Yeah, I am married.
Okay. How long have you been married for?
5 years.
Mm-hmm. And what does he do for a job?
He is on his architecture path. That's been a very long journey for him. Like in time and money, they put you through all of these hoops, and he's been very diligent, but it's taking a toll on his dreams, I guess you would say. I think he feels like he should be further along in his life than he is right now, and I can identify with that.
So does he work full time, or is he still in school?
He works full time.
Okay, like an architecture firm, and he's just like, okay, I get it.
Yep.
So here's something that you could do to help him. If you end up taking that massage class that I told you about, you're going to be able to do some serious work on him and help him break out of the mold he's got himself stuck in. Okay? Just as a lover, there are things that you can do for him with your elbow in the back of his shoulder blades that can break up office tension.
Yeah, I want to do that for him.
You got to do it out of a desire to just do it, not just for him. The desire to do it and learn from it. Okay. Just say, hubby, once a night, let me dig under your shoulder blades. Lay on the couch, put your arms above your head, and let me just explore with my elbow, with my fingers. Tell me how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Very important for you to start that, because it's also going to help you learning about love in a different way.
Yeah.
A sensual love that can really help recharge him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you connect to the intimate moments, there are other things that you'll be able to bring in that you've locked out of your intimate relationship with him because of the traumas that you experienced in the real world.
Yeah. He definitely also deserves me to heal all of that.
Mm-hmm. And learning to touch him again in a healing manner will also help you learn to touch to him in a different manner when it's time to be intimate, like normal couples.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Where you're not the sex worker jumping around anymore. Because that still comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way I know to be.
It's not the only way.
It's the only way I've
Allowed yourself
allowed
to
it,
be.
yeah, to come out.
Okay? That's 4 or 5 pages of forgiveness right there. I forgive myself for only doing blowjobs like this. I forgive myself for laying on my back and doing it like that. I forgive. And now I allow myself to experience it as a normal being who's in love with this person.
Right.
Okay? Learn to touch. Learn to touch and relearn how to touch intimately. Just as when you hold your baby. Okay? Your husband's your baby too, right?
Sometimes.
Okay? You know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Learn to hold him again. So you can feel it and not lock it out. You feel the love of that child every time you pick her up, don't you?
Yeah.
That you don't feel it out of your husband every time you touch him or hug him. Mm-hmm.
No.
That's your next journey of healing. Allowing yourself to feel love again. And forgiving yourself for learning how to not feel love again.
It's just so strange that we as humans would do that to ourselves. It's the strangest lesson I can imagine.
It's part of our journey of source disconnection. When we realize that we're disconnected from source, we have to learn how to be our source again, which makes a stronger faith knowing we are a part of all that is, was, and ever will be.
That makes sense.
Do you want to have more children?
Maybe just one more.
Boy or girl?
Girl.
Mm-hmm. How old do you want this child to be if you're going to have another child?
2-ish.
2-ish. So basically, right about when you get your body back to the weight that you wanted, you're going to get pregnant.
Well, I feel like I'm good with body image and health, and it's more about a mental block for me because I was an only child and all I know are those individual experiences.
And then the lack of sleep that comes.
That's a part of it. But I also want to grow my family quickly before I'm too tired. I don't know. My husband had siblings, and I see the benefit in learning to coexist and to also have someone when my mom died would have been nice who understood who she was as a mother.
Mm-hmm. Let me give you a little advice here. Wait until your first child is 4 before you have another one.
Okay.
This is going to give you 3 years of working the businesswoman in you, working the forgiveness in you, going and getting some education that really motivates you to be you. And then you get to decide on that year 3. Well, you know what? I did the massage class. I worked 2 years at it. I really love it. Am I ready to have a kid, or does my career need to go? Does my career need to go? Okay?
Yeah.
You will be an amazing healer. An amazing healer if you really put your effort into it, just like you put the effort into forgiving.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got one more thing I want to touch on too, okay? And that's diet.
Okay.
What's your diet been like?
Oh, since my baby was born, it's been pre-made and packaged.
Why?
I think part of it was like disdain for myself and the grief. I love to cook because I shared that with my mom.
I feel it in you. That's why I asked.
And it's very hard to enjoy food without her. And so I just eat the stuff that I know I wouldn't enjoy anyway. So I'm not missing the experience of sharing it with her.
But you want to be able to share with your daughter the joy of food.
Yes.
So you're going to do it out of the memories of your mother. Find all those moments where you did. Teach your daughter from a young age how to cook. Put her in the high chair next to you as you're chopping the onions, and talk to her and make sure she gets to taste test everything at the youngest of age.
Yeah, my mom did that with me.
It'll be your healing too. Okay.
Good.
Go pick up something out of the store and start cooking again.
I've been cooking
shows.
recently because my husband brought me an Instapot, and I've got to say it's helped. It's upped my game.
It's upped your game. Okay. Okay. You also go get one of those Ninja air fryers. Okay. You can learn how to fry food with a lot less oil into it.
Yep. I like that.
Okay. Heck, go buy a deep fryer too. Who cares at this point? Okay.
That's one of the other things I'm realizing the more I listen to you is like all the stuff that we hold against ourselves in the grand scheme of things is really not a big deal. And even though I have all these like higher level order questions, the most important thing is like, how are you eating and sleeping and treating the people who love you?
Yep.
So thanks for those reminders as well.
Okay. I want you to start cooking like a mofo.
Okay.
Okay. And if you got to start posting it on your Facebook like all those other people that what they cook today. Enjoy.
Well, I like the idea too of making like ancestral soup, like you talk about, as an offering.
Yeah, there's so much you can do as a shaman when it comes to your food. Alchemy, pure alchemy.
Yeah.
Okay, as you're chopping those onions, I in the ever-present moment chop this onions to bring love and spirit to this food that I'm creating and co-creating as an alchemical gift to my friends and family. I offer these prayers as I assemble this on the journey to learning to be me and learning to love through the alchemy of food. And you can go on and on and on. You can read stuff you've had on your own papers, stuff that you've had before.
Yeah.
And really become a food alchemist. You've got 13 generations of people that know how to pray behind you. Tap into it. Okay? It's not a praise Jesus on these onions. Okay. Or have some fun with it. Have it praise Jesus soup. Okay.
That's what I need to do. I told someone the other day Jesus was a trigger word, and that's as silly as onion being a trigger word.
Well, instead of calling him Jesus, call him Jesus.
Or whatever.
Learn how to turn that trigger around.
Applause.
Sorry, Andrew. I like that one.
I liked it too. Thank you,
It
Robert.
came at the right moment. Exactly. All right. Is there any other questions that you want to ask me?
Oh, there's a million, but I'm mostly just really grateful. I'll never forget this gift of time, and I'll pay it forward.
I know you will. Pay it forward in food, pay it forward in self-forgiveness, pay it forward in forgiveness of others, pay it forward to yourself, because it's your birthright and legacy to stand in your own power and to love those that are around you to the fullest of your capacity. Find time to love through your touch again. Your
Yeah.
husband will love it too.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, darling, I got to let you go and move on to my next caller. Thank you so much for calling back in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin that wheel of callers and see who comes up next.
All righty. Our next caller will be William. You're unmuted with Andrew.
William, are you there?
Yes.
How you doing? Where are you calling from today?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Yes. I would like to ask, can you help me understand what the agenda push behind white genocide is in our world?
I don't think that there is a white genocide going on right now.
It looks like there's quite a push to wipe out Caucasians in this world.
No, I think that's a bunch of propaganda that's been put out there.
Can you then tell me the large push for widespread Muslims throughout the world?
Muslims are not the highest rated people in the world either. I think that you have to realize the difference between what is reality and what is pure propaganda. When you get caught in a bubble of people saying it's one way versus seeing it as the infinite point of view and the infinite perspective.
So you're saying that this is all
propaganda that people buy into that takes them away from the great awakening that we are all equal. No one is greater or less than anyone else. And the great awakening is coming to your self-determination of what that is and allowing others' ideologies that are zealots and martyrs to force you into a limited point of view.
I mean, there is a massive decline of Caucasians throughout the world. The masses.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
Nope. There are more Mexicans dying of dysentery right now than there are whites. There are more Indians dying in India from all sorts of diseases than the white people are around the world. That's the truth. People die of starvation every day.
So then what about the mass demasculation of men?
That's a global thing, and that's all men. That's not just white.
Correct. But I'm talking about in general, you know, what's this big push to demasculate men? And
what's the push? Because if men are in power and are able to spiritually understand what divine masculinity means, they won't buy into the propaganda, they won't be patriots, and there won't be wars.
so you're saying this is a good thing?
No. Men have to learn how to stand in their own power and not be demasculated by culture, but still stand in their power and not allow others' ideologies drive them into a limited perspective and a zealot and martyr for others' ideologies, but standing in their own power and cause so they can love everyone equally.
Do you think with the, you know, there's going to be a civil war in America?
Nope. I think that's all propaganda put on by Fox News, Alex Jones, and many of the other conservative pundits who can't accept that the president that's currently in office is a moron and an idiot, that it's selling the country out.
I know you were talking about all this at the beginning before you start taking calls, so I wanted to ask questions specifically about worldwide propaganda and
It's a global media machine that spits out lies and fabrications to get you caught into their stories. And as long as you're caught in their stories, you're not going to be discovering your own self-truths, the inner wisdom that's available in the natural world of living.
So who would you say, what is your thought on Antifa then?
It's agent provocateurs that have been hijacked by other agent provocateurs who have been created as a part of a system of propaganda to make more people social justice warriors. Just a story for the news, created by the CIA.
Very interesting. You know, it's interesting about the variety of propaganda out there, and like for instance, you know, putting a child a part of the climate, head of climate change, you know, the Greta Thunberg, you know, and you know, I assume that's all about propaganda and distraction as well.
It's just another 13-year-old they're putting on inside the United Nations. Well, 1996, there was another girl that came out that did it, and before that there was another one, and before that was another one. It's just there to insult the modern United Nations people who aren't doing anything. Okay, it's just there to capture people's aggression and anger in a polarized world. We've got to learn to depolarize ourselves from a polarized world. You learn a whole new layer of freedom when you're not stuck in the polarized world of the media. The United Nations has done nothing good for any of us, nor has our own government. Our founding fathers are no friends of ours. They sold us out at a spendthrift trust.
Yeah, that's very true. I appreciate you touching on that. I don't really hear you talk about that too much. I hear you talk about some in some of your shows with Andre, but I just wanted to talk more about that global, wide-scale propaganda there and get your opinion on it.
It is a fabrication machine. And break down those words. Fabrication machine. It fabricates things that are meant to be into our global narrative. And our global narrative is run by what people remember day to day, week to week from the global fabrication machine, versus them creatively coming up with their own subject matters naturally and sharing with others so something can become a viral form of awareness versus a fabrication form of awareness.
So you would say that would still apply to like a World War III type of scenario?
David saying World War III is going to come forever, and it hasn't come. That's why so many books from the 80s are dystopian futures, for people to accept that the war is going to come, but it isn't.
I appreciate you answering these questions.
See, a lot of other psychics wouldn't have answered your questions, wouldn't have stuck through with it. I have no problem doing it. I understand where you're coming from. A confused world, trying to make sense of it. Stop trying to make sense of the confusing world. Go into your heart, into your own soul. Rediscover what it means to live in the natural world, where the global fabrication machine doesn't define who you are. Read any book that you want. Research any topic that you want. Learn not to be polarized.
I appreciate that, Mr. Andrew.
There's so many other things that you can learn to do in this polarized world. Learn who the polarizers are. The ones that create the fabrications that the global narrative sticks to. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. They're all polarizers. They're all ones that drive forward the global narrative.
Well, I appreciate the answers to all those things. That's very informative, very eye-opening. Good to get your perspective on these things. That's really all the questions I had. I just wanted to discuss those things.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for calling in.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right, Robert, let's spin the wheel of callers one more time.
Couldn't find my unmute button. All righty. Thank you, William. Shelley, you are our next caller, although I think I lost you. Yep. Let's see. One moment. I think I lost her on the list. Okay, next caller will be Brandy K. Brandy, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Brandy, are you there?
I'm here,
Hi, Brandy. Where are you calling from today?
Sacramento, California.
Sacramento, California. Welcome to the show. What did you want to
Oh,
talk
it's
about
a
today?
pleasure to meet you. Like, I've been following you for a while, and then the email popped up, and I was like, I'm gonna just see what happens.
And here you are today.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe it's my impatience, but I'm really interested in knowing what my next step, my next action step should be in falling into my purpose.
What do you do for a job?
Right now, I'm just a food server, but I'm developing my claircognizance, I'm developing my psychic abilities right now.
And how are you developing your psychic abilities?
I'm taking a class with a very well-renowned psychic who's teaching me how to access these things that I've been experiencing most of my life.
Mm-hmm. How often are you go to the class?
Once a week, and I've been doing, we do readings on each other throughout the week.
Mm-hmm. How many other people are in the class?
I think it's like 15.
Okay. Do you get to
And
share experiences with the other students?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good thing.
Well, it's more like when I go in, I guess I'm really accurate, and so I help a lot of people, so people always want me to read them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I feel like things are developing naturally, but I feel like there's a step that I'm not taking.
They are, but you've got a group of people you can work with, and that's a very rare thing. Love it.
Okay.
As you're developing these skills, there's going to come a moment where you're going to want to move away from that group and go on your own. But you've got a ways to go for that to happen. So you said you're in food service now. Do you like a server?
Yeah, no, I'm a server right now. I've done everything. I actually went down to being a server because around 2012 is when basically I went through this huge shift. And so from there, I've just been kind of like on this steady little progressive, I'm basically, my body's evolving and more of my spirit's coming in. That's how I view it anyway.
So you were in management before that?
Well, yeah. Well, I've always, like, when I get into something, I'm like a go for the top kind of person. Like, I'm a leader. So I did, and then I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And then I was led to a spiritual path. I just realized that it didn't feel real to me.
Okay. You're gonna make more money as a server than in management anyways. Yeah,
definitely.
What kind of store would you work at? Is it like a chain store?
Oh, I work for Cheesecake Factory.
How long have you been doing that for?
About 3 years.
Sacramento Cheesecake Factory.
Mm-hmm. Well, I started at the one in Hawaii. What I did is that the universe was calling me to Hawaii, so I went and lived in Hawaii for a while. I went under a tremendous healing experience in Hawaii. And then, of course, I came back home because I was led back home. I'm just kind of one of those people, when I start seeing the signs, I know it's time to make a move. And when doors start, I just ask the universe, open the doors and I'll walk through. So I'm pretty courageous.
Well, I'm going to help you open
the door.
But I don't know. Let me help you open the door.
Okay.
I have spent a lot of time in San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, all that whole area. I did limo driving in there for many, many years. So there are some very high-end restaurants in Sacramento that service the political elite. I want you to go and find those restaurants and start working 1 day a week there. Like, many of those average bills are $7,000 to $9,000.
High end. Okay.
Because you need to be just exposed to a different form of people. You could still keep your other job, and you got to work your way up at a white glove place. It's a different form of learning. Different form of clientele. It will also make
Mhm.
you a better reader. Okay.
That's
It'll
what I was.
expose you-
So that will tie back into
Yes. Yes.
who I'd begin to
Being a
read
server,
for.
being a server is one of the greatest things that's giving you right now. It's why you're such a great reader for everyone else. Okay.
Is
But there's
that what
gonna-
it is? Well, because
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's been the benefit of me being a server for so long, is the people I come in contact with.
Yes, they're ancestrally, because there's a lot of ancestral energies being exchanged. Positive ancestral energies. Yes.
And I'm an empath. So, and that's why, well, because after I work, it's like I have the weight of a million people on me. Now I know how to
Deal with it.
I take baths. I know how to
Right.
process the energy. I know how to ground. I know how to do all that now. So before, it would be a nightmare. I was like in depression most of my life because I didn't realize I
What was
had
happening.
everybody else's energy in me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I want you to go and venture out
Okay.
and find those very high-end restaurants. Okay?
Hmm.
The highest end
And then
restaurant
just
you
keep
can
working on my.
keep working on. You might even be able to discover that you could work 1 day a week at the high-end restaurant and move into psychic readings on a more of a part-time basis and not have to be in Cheesecake Factory.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
it is a little much. The I don't know. Is it because I absorb information?
It's just the volume of people
Would it be?
you're dealing with. It's the volume of people.
Is that what it is? Okay.
How many
Yeah,
people?
because it is
How many
very,
people?
it's
How
very
many
difficult.
people? How many people go through the store in a night? The store, not you
You're
individually.
right.
You.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's too many.
No, it's true.
It's too many.
Yeah, and it's very overwhelming for me, and it's hard for me to do, and I get sick a lot. Is that why I get sick so often?
Yes, it is because the volume of people
Oh,
coming in and
okay.
they're bringing their germs.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
Okay,
the
that
next
makes
part,
sense.
the next part is like one of the first callers. You're going to need to build an infrastructure for yourself. You don't have a lot of
Mhm.
skills of running your own business. Do
Well,
you?
I can do it. I actually the restaurants that I have been in where I took on management positions, I ended up doing most of everything for the people, for the owners.
But you've
So
never,
you've
you've never
I can,
done marketing for your own psychic.
No, I have not. No, I've not done that.
Okay. Never built a
I think
website
that
before,
the
have you?
business aspect, the financial aspect of it, I can do it. But
Okay.
yeah, you're right. The
Being a
marketing part,
psychic
no,
is not
I
like
would be lost.
being a psychic is not like being in a restaurant. I assure you of it.
Yeah.
The skill
Well, I
sets are
know,
very
and see, and
different,
that's why-
especially on the back end. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially on the
Yeah.
back end, very different. Okay. It's a lot easier, but it is very different on the back end. And you need to develop some back end stuff so it makes it easy right away. Okay.
Okay.
Then,
Also, one more question. I'm
Mhm.
having a problem with clairaudience. Is there something that I could possibly do so that I can hear who's speaking to me more clearly?
it's just experience at this particular point. The skill is already built in.
Okay.
And it's like an athlete training for an event. And once the event is
Okay.
done, you're trained in it, right?
Exactly.
It's keeping up the
Okay.
skill. What I can recommend is diet change. If you're having clairaudience, this is for anyone that's really advancing their skills. That the amount of protein that you get in every day is absolutely vital based off of how good of a reader you're going to be. And if you're not really getting
Okay, what do you
40
mean?
grams,
What do you mean?
40 grams of protein every day.
40 grams. See, and I'm a vegan too, so this is very important for me because I do not consume 40 grams of protein.
So guess what? You're not a good vegan then.
Okay. We'll
And
see.
if you're
and
not
then,
a good vegan,
yeah,
if you're not a good vegan, don't be a psychic. You either learn to be a good vegan or go eat the meat.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh God, no. I could never even at this point I have too much compassion. I couldn't even I couldn't consume it.
That is a limitation. Come on.
Okay.
Learn to be a good vegan or eat the meat. Or you have a super self-defeating habit pattern that is going to kick you off of your capacity to be psychic.
Okay. Well, see, that makes sense because I'm I have food issue problems, things.
Then
like
anybody that has had any food issues should not be a vegan. It is just being a vegan is covering up your food issues. Listen, anyone can learn how to be a good vegan, but they don't.
Mhm.
And they use veganism as a red badge of courage.
Well, actually, no, my body just can't handle like
Bullshit.
animal products. I
Bullshit.
get sick.
Bullshit.
Then why do I get sick?
Bullshit. 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 Because you're making yourself sick out of your own zealotry towards it, because you have food issues.
Well, yeah, but I didn't choose.
What food issues did you have growing up?
Oh no, it's an overeating thing. It's really it's overeating. My family has just been a family of overeaters and eating for comfort and eating for comfort.
Veganism is a way that you take away the overeating, because you can eat all the salad in the world and you're not going to get fat. Right?
Okay.
You're just covering up that you're not dealing with a food issue. I'm not telling you to stop being a vegan. I'm telling you to learn how to be a vegan or stop being a vegan. Learn how to get 40 grams of protein every day, or you will be a miserable, you will be a miserable psychic.
Okay.
You will not be able to handle any high volume of clients.
Okay.
I want you to repeat that. You will not have any high volume of clients without 40 grams of protein.
Without 40 grams of protein. I need protein. Okay.
Period.
Period.
There are plenty of proteins out there. Please do not eat Beyond Meat. That stuff is disgusting.
It's disgusting. I don't eat it. I don't eat meat like products because I'm not going to eat the animal. Why do I want something that resembles it? That's just how I feel. Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Maybe that's a lack of protein has been affecting me more than I thought.
It is destroying you.
Okay.
It's also why you get sick. It's also a lot of other reasons that you could have become a psychic 10 years earlier, could have gotten out of it, but you aren't going to feed yourself. And I would really, really look into resolving the overeating aspects and why you're choosing to be a vegan. If you don't choose to heal that, it's going to be a wound and a trauma in you that
exactly. Well, that's exactly what that's exactly what I'm working on, because I feel like it's being used against me. I feel like it is.
It is right now because you're not having protein.
Okay.
Once again, I'm not telling you to stop. I'm not telling you to eat the meat. I'm saying learn to be a good vegan.
I wouldn't anyway. Yeah. Okay.
Learn to be a good vegan or eat the meat. But the person that's saying I won't eat the meat because I empathize with the animal, that's bullshit also. That salad has more sentience than that piece of dead meat. That's been dead for 40 days. Though.
So I've struggled with that aspect of it too, because I feel like everything is connected. So I don't.
So you're a martyr and a zealot.
Oh God.
You've heard me say that a lot. I'm telling you, you're a martyr and a zealot. Okay. They are offering you a service for your food. Can you accept their love and their position and place in great mystery?
God, accept love? What?
Be it peanut, be it peanut or cow.
Be it peanut or cow. Wow. Okay. Oh, that just brought tears to my eyes when you said that. Are you going to accept their love? Oh my God. Oh. Okay. I want to. Okay.
What's stopping you from accepting their love?
I know that's where it is right there, huh? That's where it is. What's stopping me from accepting love?
Because you have an overeating issue in your family and you're going to take all this love and do nothing with it. You also have some other eating disorders. Come on. Let's really talk about your other eating disorders.
I don't want to talk about it. It's hard. Okay, so I purge when I get really bad anxiety. It's the process. It's the whole process of overeating just to feel numbness for a little while and then getting rid of the anxiety through purging. And then I literally feel better.
That's called bulimia.
Okay. I don't do it all the time.
That is called bulimia.
Bulimia. Okay.
And if you are a bulimic and you're a psychic, you are in for a hell of a time when you start doing 5 clients a week.
Because that's a lot of energy
Because
participate with.
you are not going to learn. You're going to binge and purge, and you're never going to get your 40 grams of protein. And then an entity is going to go, I got the bitch.
I feel you.
And I mean, I got the bitch.
No, done. I know, because
You're done.
You're
done.
Okay.
You won't be a psychic anymore. You'll never get over 5 clients a week. Because you won't be able to hand them and you'll always be under attack.
Okay. Is there anything just besides the 40 grams of protein? Is there, 40 grams of protein and working on how to receive love. Besides that,
through the food.
And
then identifying why you have to purge.
Why do I have to purge? Why do you
guilty.
think I have to purge?
You feel ashamed.
I feel guilty. Okay.
You feel ashamed. You blame.
So it's not because it's not because of the eating part. It's actually because I already feel guilty, blame, and shame.
You're allowing shame, blame, and guilt to have value and valuation in you. Therefore, you must purge.
Therefore, I must purge. That makes so much sense. Because I was trying to figure out why I keep doing it. Because I'm actually in a better place than I've ever been emotionally before.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll go through working on your psychic skills, and you're feeling euphoria from it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get euphoria from your food because you're a food worker and you have bulimia. The worst combination, that means you're not allowing the love in at the most basic level through your stomach.
So picking things that are the best for my body is an act of love from the plants themselves.
As well as the
myself.
Other things too.
Okay. As well as even the other things.
Even the other things. Because if you just allow it from plants, you're not really healing the damage that's in there. This is about healing yourself. It's not about accepting yourself as a vegan for the rest of your life.
No, just healing myself.
Of the trauma of binge and purge and bulimia.
The trauma of binge. I've never said that out loud.
You got to say it every day out loud to yourself if you really want to heal it, or you are going to end up being a miserable vegan psychic with no protein and be under attack every day.
That's what I've been feeling like. I've actually felt like I've been under my attack my entire life, honestly.
Because you're not allowing love through your food. And guess what? Every time you have a food that you don't like and you don't have love in it, the entity goes, I got the bitch. You got to learn to close off all the avenues of the I got you bitch line.
Okay.
Through love.
Through love.
Okay. Do you like Korean food? Do you like Korean food?
Not really. Well, I can't say that. I don't like to say I don't like things. I really haven't tried that frequently, but I have had some Korean dishes that I enjoyed.
Okay. There are some kimchi combinations that you can learn that have some very high amounts of protein into them. Okay?
Kimchi? Okay.
Kimchi combinations with other foods. Combinations where you can go and get some kimchi that's like 10, 20, 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It has very unique aspects of fermentization in it. So that can do very beneficial. Like right now, your intestinal tract is out of order. Big time.
That's what I think. Yeah, it is.
Because you're not getting protein. So you're going through this process. You put on muscle because you work your ass off as a server. You don't eat the proper food. And then when your body is out of energy, it eats the muscle it's just created. Because you don't have the protein to replace the lost energy. So you're making muscle and consuming your own muscle. Making muscle and consuming. And this is a vicious cycle in you. You also don't have the right probiotics in your intestinal tract. Like if you were to eat meat now, you would just shit it out green most likely because you wouldn't have the stuff to process it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You need to learn the protein varieties. And once again, if you can't maintain 40 grams of protein a day as a vegan, stop being a vegan.
Oh no, I will.
Being a bad vegan is detrimental to your great health.
Okay.
When you're ready to be a good vegan, be a good vegan. But don't be a zealot vegan. Be an educated one.
Okay.
So what does your diet consist of?
Well, during the week, I juice until about lunch. Well, till about dinner. And I won't say lunch. I don't eat lunch. I don't eat breakfast, lunch. I do like green juices. And then at night, it depends. Like lately I've been doing like almond crackers with like a split pea soup. Not nothing I make myself.
So you
just
really don't
quick
have,
things.
you maybe have 6 grams of protein a day.
Yeah, but on the days that I don't just stop at the store to grab something quick, I'll do like a whole salad, and
There's no protein
I'll
in
try
salads.
none the green.
You could die off of eating just salads, right? Your
Okay.
body was never meant to eat all salad.
So going raw is definitely not something I should do, because
No.
that's what I
No.
thought I should do. No. Okay.
No.
Because I've been struggling with this, so this is definitely helping me, because I was like, maybe I just need to go raw. Maybe that's why I don't have any energy, or why I don't feel well, or like all these things.
It's lack
And
of
then
protein. All of that is lack of protein.
Okay. And so, because I do have a problem with grains, like, and a lot of like the protein powders have a lot of grains in them.
Mm-hmm. There's a one out there called Sun Warrior Blend, and it's a non-whey 20 grams of protein per scoop.
The Sun Warrior.
You cannot live off of protein powder either. You're still being a bad vegan.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to actually push you here a little bit and tell you, if you're going to really tackle your bulimia so that you can be a good psychic, you need to start eating food that you like. Before you became a vegan, what was your favorite food that you don't have anymore?
Crab.
Go and get a crab. Put the butter on it. Put
What?
the butter on. Love yourself.
Okay.
Love yourself.
Okay. Love myself. Okay.
Love yourself through your food. Start cooking for yourself. Learn how to be a good vegan. Okay? Go eat a damn burger and learn how to love it, and don't purge it. Okay? Don't purge it. See, you're teary right away. That bulimia is deep in you, deep, and you need to heal that. It is going to make you an infinitely better psychic.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. Thank you for being very raw and uncut. I really, really needed that. I needed someone to just be real with me.
You're welcome. Go have some lobster bisque. Okay?
I haven't tried that yet. I'm gonna have to try it now.
Okay. Love yourself.
Okay.
Love yourself. Love yourself. You're on the path to being a great psychic. Don't fuck it up through food.
Okay.
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 Tell the side of you that purges it, I'm a good fucking psychic. I can beat this shit. I'm not purging this. I can put on 6 fucking pounds from it. So what? I'll work my ass off harder. Get your 40 grams of protein. Become educated in your food and educated in your purging. No more purging.
No more purging.
No more purging. Or you will not be a good psychic. You will be open to attack all the time.
Okay.
Okay. Now, something else. You've been purging for how long? How many years now?
10 years.
It has actually created a trauma in your throat.
That's the pain I feel in my throat.
And more than you know. So your throat, your esophagus has these rings inside it, what helps the food go down and go up. And when you regularly purge and you learn to purge too much, you begin to tear those rings like you tear a meniscus or a muscle in your body.
Okay.
And it's very important that you would go and get some very advanced cranial sacral therapy or somebody that's a myofascial releasist and tell them that you're a purger and that they need to begin the myofascial cranial sacral release around the esophagus, the back of the neck, and the throat, because you have some very dense energies built up around every time that you purged. You're actually hating yourself.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Okay, you're going to need 6 to 8 hours of somebody that's a really good myofascial releasist, really, really, really good. That's going to get in there and really remove the traumas that are built into the esophagus, which is right basically your spinal column.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Have you ever had anyone do
Okay.
myofascial cranial sacral on you before?
No, I haven't.
Do you ever let anybody do body work on you?
Yeah, I do.
How often?
Well, I used to go get a massage like at least once every 2 weeks. But I mean, like, I guess it's more like energy work. I have more energy work done on me than anything else.
Okay, you need physical elbows and hands and knuckles. Okay, no more
Yeah, I
energy
do
work.
notice
No,
that about myself.
okay.
Okay.
You're also
Physical.
absorbing a tremendous amount of people from your work, and you need to learn how to get them out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So I need to go back to making that a priority because I kind of let it slip.
Yes, but I would highly
Right.
advise you go find a myofascial releasist and sit down and say you're a 10-year purger. You have a lot of myofascial trauma in the throat and the esophagus, which is lining up to the spinal column, which is creating a blockage from your heart right now.
That's what that pain is?
Mm-hmm. As well as your capacity to hate yourself when you're eating your food. You have to learn to learn to love food again, all forms of food. Can't let it be a hatred in you. It's a trauma that will take you down.
Okay.
All right, darling, I gotta let you go. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
calling in.
Thank you.
All
No,
right.
thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're
Thank
welcome. You have a great day. All
You
right,
too.
okay, Robert. Let's call that an end to today's show. Thank you so much for everyone that has called in, and we shall be back this coming Thursday for a live show, Universal Citizens Media, and we'll see what the global media machine spews out as its next fabrication of lies. All right, Robert, take us away.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important? Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.